Welcome to the College Football Prediction Show on the Grueling Truth Sports Network. Today, we're going to look at the Pac-12 championship between the Oregon Ducks and the Washington Huskies. I'm Mike Goodpaster. I want to remind you to go to BetMGM to check out the best sports book for betting on college football this weekend. You can click on the link in the description down below in the YouTube video. You can follow us at Grueling Truth on Twitter. But let's go ahead and let's take a deep dive into Oregon and Washington. Now, on October 14th, both teams were coming off bye weeks when the 3-point favorite Huskies in Seattle defeated Oregon 36-33. It was the only blemish for either team this season. Ducks quarterback bonix played out of his mind, 33 for 47, 337 yards and 2 touchdowns with no picks. The Huskies, Michael Penix, 22 for 37, 302, 4 touchdowns and 1 interception. Penix came out of that game as the Heisman favorite. But since then, the Ducks have kind of exploded. They've been blowing people out. Washington has struggled. Now Bo Nix is the favorite to win the Heisman, but this game is going to decide who goes to the college football playoffs, I believe, and also who's going to win the Heisman Trophy this year. This game will be played at Allegiant Stadium, and, there's no ceiling really for Nix and the Ducks. Bo Nix didn't go a game this season without throwing at least 2 touchdown passes. He has 37 touchdowns and 2 picks. Now, Washington has slim victories over Arizona and Arizona State. Penix did not toss one pass that ended up in the end zone. Nix owns an efficiency rating of 189.2, which is second in the nation, to LSU's Jaden Daniels at 208. Penix is 12th at 163.3. Nix is tops in completion percentage, while Penix isn't even among the top 20. Now, Nix also 3,900 passing yards. Penix 3,800 passing yards. Both owe their offensive line Rolexes and cars for keeping them healthy this season and making this a much easier year than it has been for most quarterbacks in college football. Now, since the first meeting, their attacks have differed. Oregon has tallied 22 passing touchdowns, 13 on the ground. Washington, 12 and 11, respectively. The Ducks have allowed just 9 touchdowns, 3 in the air, 6 on the ground. To the Huskies, 20, 9 passing, 11 rushing. On offense, the Ducks have turned it over only 5 times, 2 fumbles, 3 picks. They've had 155 first downs. The Huskies, 125 first downs. They have 10 giveaways, 5 through the air, 5 through the ground. In fact, Washington foes have more first downs, 131, than it does over its last 6 games. Oregon opponents have only garnered 109 in the last 6 games. Oregon has taken better care of the ball than Washington. The Ducks are better at taking the pigskin away from the other guys. Both have low penalty pensions. They're both very well-coached teams. This should produce another close game like they played in Seattle. The Ducks own edges in rushing offense and defense and passing offense. Most glaringly is their overall completion percentage of 77.5%, which is number 1 in the country. The other issue is UW's secondary yields a 41st ranked of 60 or almost 60%. Nix and the Ducks average 349 aerial yards, but those UW backers, corners, and safeties allow opponents 265 yards passing a game. That's 120th. Only 13 secondaries are worse in college football. So that is why you're getting the way they've played since their last game in Seattle, and especially the way the Huskies' defensive backs have played, is why you're getting a point spread that kind of blows you away. Oregon lost to Washington earlier in the year by 3, but now they're favored by 9.5. Now, Oregon has only allowed 83 yards rushing a game. The Huskies have given up 131. So the Ducks have allowed 83. The Huskies have allowed 131. So what are we going to pick here? You can probably see the way I'm going. In mid-October, the game between these two teams had 6 lead changes. It was the game of the year. The Huskies taking the final one with 98 seconds left. They combined for almost 1,000 total yards of offense. There was a single turnover. Penalties were low. And this is a neutral site. And the victor will be advancing to the national finals. A plus for the Ducks is their 9-2-1 against the spread record. That's a measure of dominance. I mean, when they're supposed to beat teams up, they beat teams up. Washington, on the other hand, is 5-6-1. Finally, Oregon is 15-4 in the past 19 games between these two teams, with the Ducks' average winning margin being a sliver more than 15 points. So I know when you look at this game, this seems like an awful lot of points, and it seems like, man, I should just jump on UW and take the 9.5 points. I don't think it's going to be enough to cover this game. I think from what I've seen, the Oregon Ducks are as good as anybody in the country, maybe better. Offensively, they're extremely explosive. On defense, they can shut you down. Washington has had a great season, great coaching job. Michael Penix has been off the hook. He's been a great player all year. But time runs out on the Washington Huskies season this weekend. I think Friday night, I think Oregon wins 41-28. They covered a spread, so I'm going to suggest you go to BetMGM, bet on the Oregon Ducks to cover the 9.5 points. I think you'll go make a little bit of money. So go do that. Make sure you follow me, Mike Goodpaster, at Grilling Truth on Twitter. Hit up BetMGM to bet the game. But for now, for Mike Goodpaster, you've been watching and listening to The Grilling Truth, where the legends speak.